Page 51, 10 Little Indians. They're introducing the long arrows. At the top you see that for crescendo and diminuendo, or decrescendo, whichever. I read these arrows the same way I read the music. We read music from left to right. So the arrow in there, if it starts at a point, that's the softest part. And as the arrow widens, I get louder. That's how I remember which arrow does which. Otherwise I get confused. Which arrow is getting louder? So if the arrow starts apart, the lines apart, that's the loudest part. And as the lines come together to a point, it gets softer. All right, that's how I do it. You can remember them any way you want to. They're also introducing a whole rest. As if you weren't confused, good luck. The whole rest looks exactly like the half rest, except the whole rest is below the line. The half rest is above the line. That's the only difference. Now, a whole rest is the same as a whole note in that it can get, in 4/4 time, you get 4 counts, right? Because that's what a whole note would get. It gets 4 quarter notes. However, the whole rest gets to do double duty. And that is, a whole rest can just indicate the measure. So it doesn't matter how many beats are in it. If you got a measure with a whole rest in it and that's it, you just rest the whole measure, okay? You see the first 2 measures in the right hand. They have whole rests. They get 4 counts? No, they don't, because you're in 2/4 time. So here, each whole rest is getting 2 counts. It's for the whole measure. Now you say, why don't they use half rests? Probably because they want to point out to you that it can be the whole measure. All right. I see no reason why they can't use a half rest. I mean, it does the job. It's 2 counts. But the whole rest is generally used for the whole measure. Now at the bottom of this, of course, you see the repeat sign. You know we're going to play it twice. But that last measure, there is an 8 VA at the top above the staff. Have we had 8 VA? I don't remember we have. 8 VA simply means go up an octave. Now an octave, oct means 8. Octave is an interval of an 1/8. We talked about intervals before, right? So if I want to know where an 8 is, an interval of an 8, I can count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's the same letter, key letter, C to C, happens to be 8. Or D to D, or E to E, or whatever. Those are octaves. When you go up an octave, it's easy to do on piano because everything is arranged in octaves. So the last note is written here, but you're going to go up and play it an octave higher here. Now they could have just written the note in for this, but you haven't had that note yet, and this gives them a chance to introduce you to 8 VA. Now if the 8 VA is under, it means you go down an octave. Sometimes they'll do an 8 VB instead of an 8 VA. Doesn't matter. If it's below, you go down an octave. And it only applies to the staff where it's at. So in this case, it's only the right hand. Left hand doesn't move. You stay right where you're at. If they want both hands to go, they have to put in a note, both hands. The rules. Watch out, the right hand moves around a little. In the first line you're up here, but in the second line you got to go down here, and then you go back up for the third line. You can move anytime you want. You have rests. It's up to you. Just make sure the hand is in position before you need to play the note. I generally do it right before. So as I'm playing in the, my hand is here. As I'm playing in the second line, the second measure, usually around the last beat or so, and that's when I move my hand down. The hands will move around a little bit. Well, very little, but a little bit. The left hand pretty much is anchored here. Until you get down to the bottom. Last line. The last note, you gotta go down to the last note. Now, what you can do, if you want, is play the F at the beginning of the last line, the first measure in the left hand. Play that F. Play with the fourth finger instead of the fifth. That puts you in position. If you put the thumb on the next to the last measure, B flat, then all you got to do is reach down an octave and get the low one. It's easy to do. You don't even have to look at the keyboard. If you use the second finger, that's quite a stretch. You might have to look down at the keyboard to see what it is. Problem is, you might be looking at the keyboard to see what the right hand's doing. You don't have time to see what the left hand's doing. And it's like, got too many hands going on here. It's like, what are we doing? So I would recommend a fourth finger on the F. First measure, last line. Put the thumb on that B flat so you can go down an octave for the last. You can, if your hands are, of course, this is assuming you can reach an octave. All right. Same thing in the right hand. You're already in position. Then you reach up an octave to play that last B flat, the AVA. Hopefully you can do that without looking at the keyboard. So let's try this 10 Little Indians out. 2/4 time, I'm going to give you 4 counts. Give us 4 counts before we come in. So the left hand is here. And the right hand is here. When it comes in, you can go ahead and put it up there and be ready to go. 1, 2, ready, go. Repeat.